that I have to talk about this week is this.
Yeah, that's pretty. Pat is
It
holding up
is a
his.
pretty red and gold D20.
That is, you got yourself a little set.
A little bit.
The silence is the sound.
Oh,
Noise
that
gate.
doesn't go through?
The noise gate's catching it. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
well,
a satisfying.
It'll go through on the audio version. So Paige has been playing D&D with a group for about a year now, and just so happens that two of five people dropped out. They had obligations or something, and they dropped out, which torpedoed that campaign. Which then her DM and her remaining members are like, we should start a new campaign and open it up to more people. And I figured, you know what? I will give that a shot.
But Pat, you hate D&D.
So I don't hate D&D. That's the thing. So I had a very, very bad D&D experience when I was like 19 or 20, in which I've talked about this before, but I'll just recap it. Where basically a group that I knew needed an extra player for their campaign, and then rushed me into it and gave me no direction other than just do whatever you think your character would do. So I left, split the party, and killed an important NPC because I didn't like them, and then couldn't make it the next week, at which point I was informed that I had ruined their campaign.
Okay. Right. That will sully the experience, onboarding.
And I was like, I guess I shouldn't play D&D with people because I'll just ruin it for them. However, my wife plays D&D now and has been like, that's stupid, you're stupid. Just play the damn game with us. You'll have a good time. So I'm willing to give it another shot. However, I'll be honest, I am sick with anxiety.
Well,
over this.
This is a much safer environment, first of all, right? As opposed to last time. And a good DM can accommodate for all kinds of uncertainty, wild pulls, left, right, etc. You know, you got to roll with the punches to do the job. But if any, that's kind of surprising in the sense that, like, so I also kind of always thought that, like, the part that you would have not enjoyed was like the creative aspect per se.
So that's kind of where it is that, like, so first of all, today, after today's show, is session 0, which is something I did not get 20 years ago. And session 0 is the discussion. It's where everybody makes their character, or rather rolls for their character, right? So that everyone can be kept honest. And where the DM breaks down what is to be the tone of the campaign, how much combat, how little combat, what do you guys want to include with your backstories and how you can fit that in, house rules, you know, what have you. So that's literally in like 3 hours.
Okay, cool. And
which is why I have a hard out today.
Okay. And you're also not going in with the what my group went in with, just rabid Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman fandom of just basically making Bastlin Bajur.
I'm going in with a little bit of that, I'll be honest. And one of the things that's been going on with my brain, so Paige and I are very similar in a lot of respects, but we are violently opposed in many others. One of which is Paige is so comfortable with the creative aspects of D&D, right? But her memory isn't the best, so occasionally she'll forget some obscure ruling. I, on the other hand, am super comfortable with that rule book. I love that rule book. The rule book tells me what I can do and what I can't do and how to do it and how to interact. And it's like the rule book to me is a series of buttons to push.
Yes. Absolutely.
Um,
You want the visual novel experience, which is essentially one of 3 or 4 decisions at any given time.
yeah,
And Paige wants to yes and role
free
play
flow. Yeah, yes,
and have
yeah, yeah.
conversations, which that's the fun part too. Yeah. Okay.
So I see people in the chat saying that I'd be a rules lawyer. No, rules lawyers are killjoys. It's my responsibility to be my own rules lawyer for my sheet, not Jim's sheet or Rebecca's sheet, because that's between them and God.
But you need a quick multiple choice decision to make at any given moment.
So like a lot of people, like I'm gonna be doing my best, because I'm not. This is a very new experience in terms of like role play instead of just, because there's the distinction between role play as in ROLE and role play, which is ROLL. I'm definitely a lot more comfortable with the second one. So I'm kind of building my character backwards, in that I don't have a defined personality yet, because I haven't rolled my stats.
Yeah. Okay.
Like once I've rolled my stats, then I can figure out a personality.
That's so interesting. Yeah. Okay. I mean, listen, right? You know, I imagine that Paige knows what she's doing here, and that
yes,
you can't. The thing is with this is like you can't make any mistakes, right? Everything.
That's not true. People say that. That's a lie.
Okay.
That is a lie.
Okay. Well, how about this? We take the Bob Ross school of philosophy here, where mistakes can be turned into better moments, into miracles, if the people involved, if the DM and everyone knows how to roll with it and make it great, So
I have been to quell my anxiety over, am I gonna do a good job? I've been reading. I found the RPG horror stories Reddit, which is now one of my favorite subreddits of all time, and it is people describing their bad experiences in D&D.
Okay.
And man, there's some miserable fucking shit. Oh my god,
there are famous clips of people losing their minds, getting into screaming fits, and then shoving everyone out of the way and running out of the room. You
can't. Yeah,
and it's like it's
good.
Holy shit,
I love
man.
it.
Yeah, it gets bad.
But the one part of the character backstory that I have decided with, which Paige and I came up with simultaneously. I mean, me and Paige are a married couple, and we're very in love. So wouldn't it be fun to play characters that are viciously divorced? Just very antagonistically divorced.
Dang, let's go. That's fun.
So today at session 0,
that's fucking
part
fun.
of the character creation will be to show to the group that we are married and we do like each other, so that when we get into it in character, people aren't tugging their collars going, oh, Jesus fucking Christ, am I watching a real fight?
I mean, divorced protagonist energy is some of the strongest there is. That's fantastic. That's really good. Yeah, immediately someone, especially if you have an otherwise capable, somewhat charming character, but there's someone who's right there that's familiar and so sick of their shit. That's great for any setting. That's fantastic.
So here's hoping that goes well. I'm not locked in for the campaign. I'm on a trial series of sessions. If after 3 or 4 sessions I either hate it or vice versa, I will show up for a session to die and then exit out. But I'm not too worried about that.
If you roll your dice and it crumples to dust, you have an
That'd
out.
be bad. This is a metal dice, so that would be impressive. Also, I got this home.
Wilder things have happened in the clown dimension.
I'm gonna point. I got this home and I rolled it to test. Like, you have to test your dice. Even I'm familiar with the superstitious nature of your dice. And the very first roll that I ever took with this, that Paige watched me do it, was a nat 20. And I'm like, okay, you are okay.
Bodes well. Bodes all right.
Yeah, it was a 20, a 14, a 10, a 3, a 4, and a 12. And I'm like, oh, that's a nice, good bell curve.
Okay. All right. And just hear the Baldur's Gate narrator in your head every time.
Amelia Tyler? Well, no, it would be our DM now.
Well, yes.
Who is the only person in this group I know other than the wife.
Okay.
But, I mean, the DM would be the person to know, right?
Okay. Yeah, well, that story makes sense as to why that experience is sullied, and it also is why, like, things that are so D&D adjacent in video games are, like, super up your alley.
I love that shit.
Yeah.
The other thing that, I forgot. So because I was in the story, I forgot the details of that story were not obvious from my telling. I forgot to explain that, like, the people I was playing with were theater kids. They were Dawson theater kids.
Yeah. Okay. This was Club Space.
It was adjacent.
Yeah, the other room. Adjacent. Yeah. Okay.
So, like, there's a lot, like,
everyone's barding out.
I was going to, now that I'm going to be playing D&D for at least a little while, I've now put my foot directly into the discourse, which has only gotten more intense since we were kids. In the 90s, D&D was a fucking video game on paper. It was, let's hit that dungeon, let's hit the adventure module, etc. At some point, probably because of Critical Role, or at least helped it along, D&D has now been positioned as, it's a collaborative storytelling adventure with you and your friends, and sometimes you roll dice. And the very strong opposition from both ends of that spectrum are fascinating, because the group that I played with in 2009, whatever the fuck it was a fucking make-believe masturbation session with a bunch of people fucking spouting off about their OCs.
Yeah, no, there is a little bit of, like, okay, if half of this, if your character was already made and waiting on DeviantArt, and you're in a room with 5 Jack Blacks standing up, can you see he's a man, let me hear you applaud, he's more than, like, I get that is not what you're looking for. My D&D sessions have been with my group of high school friends that were basically just the same group of people we knew, except now we're playing, whatever characters, but we were all extremely familiar. And our history teacher, the cool history teacher, was the DM, So yeah, it is, you do roll the dice, so to speak, going with random people that you don't know as well.
Well, here's the thing. They're not random people because my wife knows them.
Okay, so they're vetted.
Yeah, they are vetted.
But
like, I'm sure a couple of them are a little cringe, but we're playing D&D and I'm almost 40, so
hey,
who am I to fucking point that stick at?
Yeah. But no, and I think it also becomes quickly and immediately apparent whenever somebody joins a group that is just, like, fails the vibe check, right?
Yeah.
Fails the fucking, what would that, the Thavo.
The Thavo. No. To hit armor vibe 0. That's really good. You should feel good about that.
Yeah, that's important. But yeah, sounds good. Hell yeah.
So we're also going to be playing a campaign that is, so I'm really throwing my ass into the shit I'm not comfortable with, because the campaign that we're rolling into is an adventure module that is designed to be completable without combat.
Ooh,
Like,
conversational.
there will probably be some combat, right? But it is completable without combat, which is the part that I am just the most comfy with by far. So I'm building a character that is I'm focusing up on a lot of non-combat oriented skills and spells and whatnot. So I'm gonna have to do the talky roleplay shit. And so hopefully this pit in my stomach leaves at some point.
And then your charisma is a 9. and then you have a fucking uphill battle.
Oh no, I'm playing an orc warlock, so my charisma will be high.
Okay.
If nothing else is high, but I'm planning to go for low end.
Okay.
I want to play a charming dumb person.
Yeah. All right. I'm like putting it through the fucking the Weiss and Hickman filter. You want to Tasselhoff a little bit?
No, fuck that little shit. Fuck that little shit.
He's got some charm to his dumb.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be going orc warlock, and Paige is gonna be a hexblood sorcerer, probably wild magic, because Paige likes to roll the dice and have weird shit happen. And we're going to be viciously divorced. And we'll see how that works out. We also spoke between ourselves, and I'm the type of person in this scenario where if there is a cursed item that looks like it could give me something, I'm gonna touch it. And I'm cool with the rest of the table having to violently stop me and hurt, like attack and almost murder my character to stop me.
You're gonna be fine. It's gonna be great. You're gonna be A-okay.
I want the orb.
No one can.
I want it.
No one.
I don't know what it does. It's probably bad, but I want it.
When it's your turn, it's your turn.
So yeah, here's hoping that goes well.
Okay.
I'll be reporting back next week with vibes, because there's no playing tonight. It's character creation and whatnot.